Hi everybody, we will look at the DSE skill in the exercise fill in the blanks rewriting exercise that you will see in DSE using the past paper from A-Levels 2008. Alright, just like last time, you will put version 1, the original passage, side by side to the new version, version 2, which is the summary of the original passage. Yeah, so put it side by side. How are you going to change version 1 to version 2? Let's have a look at the instructions. Now you know that in the fill in the blanks you need to paraphrase. It's all about paraphrasing. You are only allowed to use one word for each blank, and you have to choose the most suitable word. The word may or may not be found in the passage. Have a look here. In each blank, you can only put one word, and the word can be may or may not be from version 1. Do pay attention to the tenses, plural, etc. Hyphenated or contracted words would be like didn't, those are contracted words, or he apostrophe s, contracted word, count as one. Alright, so do you remember the two strategies? The first one is try to match the word from the original passage with the fill in the blank exercise. Okay? And they almost always need you to change the part of speech by yourself. Same for this exercise. For example, that beautiful girl becomes that beauty from an adjective to a noun, beauty. Okay, second strategy is to find out what part of speech the answer should be. And here are some of the formulas. If you've got a and the plus the noun boy, then if you put in between the article and the noun, it's an adjective boy. Okay, so an ugly boy, a funny boy. After preposition is followed by a noun or gerund. Gerund is verb plus ing. That's from Form 1. Help, after help, you do not need to change the verb. That's also from Form 1. Suggest is followed by gerund, verb plus ing. Advise is followed by to infinitive. I'm not saying that in this exercise you see a lot of these, all these examples, but I'm showing you there is a pattern that you can pay attention to. All right, the article is women can sue if maternity leave slows career. What is sue? What is sue? Okay, what's sue? Okay, sue means you get a lawyer and then sue the person who offended you. Okay, for example, your company didn't pay you money after you've worked there for a month and you did nothing wrong. So you can hire a lawyer and sue the company for mistreating you. Maternity leave, boys and girls. If you look at the picture, then you probably know this woman is pregnant title. Maternity leave is a holiday that these mothers take to take care of their babies, the baby in their tummy. But here it's saying that women can get a lawyer if when they take their leave slows down the career. What do you mean by slow the career? What do you think slow the career would mean? What do you think slow the career would mean? Okay, it means that maybe you cannot be promoted, maybe you cannot. Yeah, so when you read the title, you should start guessing what you might see in the article. Okay, so if people take a holiday because they're pregnant, oh my God, is it going to affect their career? Will they not be promoted? Will they lose money? And so on and so forth. Okay, let's have a look at version 2, the summary. All right, we'll do the highlighting together. Have your highlighters ready? I'm going to read and highlight at the same time. Let's do it together very quickly. According to a high court something, a woman who takes maternity leave will be able to sue her place of something if her chance of promotion is affected by taking leave. Something to the court the something of time taken as leave, the time taken as leave must be counted as continuous service. So if they are taking a holiday, then it should be counted as their service time if it affects her opportunities for promotion. And this is affecting whether they can be promoted. They're not working. So maybe that's why the company think, oh, they cannot be promoted. They cannot be the manager because during this time they did nothing. In addition, she's entitled to be notified. So they have the right to be notified of any changes to her post in her something. A woman who is harassed by customers can also take legal actions. That means get the lawyer and sue them. Do we sue the customer or the employer? Look at this. They are saying suing against her employer because the company failure to provide adequate something. Okay, the company did not provide something. And what is that something? Now have a look at the highlighted part in blue. This part you can see on the screen, it can be guessed. And when I say it can be guessed, is because it's a very common expression. It's a common expression, so maybe you know the answer. Next thing is to put the tips down. Okay, have a look here. Draw the arrow. A high court something, according to a high court something. So it's something as a noun. Okay, of, after place of is a preposition. After preposition is a noun. If her chance, and then next one can be guessed. Next, number 64, because of the, you know that is followed by a noun. Of time taken as leave must be counted as continuous service if it affects. Okay, next, her post in, okay, her noun. Okay, after pronoun is followed by a noun. Adequate, provide, failure to provide adequate something, right? Provide something. So something means it's a noun. Okay, jot it down, and I hope it helps you to find out the answer later on. Okay, let's read the second paragraph. The case brought by Equal Opportunities Commission, you will see EOC later on in short form. So it's about equality, equal opportunities. Suggested are something on the part of ministers to apply the European Equal Treatment Directives properly. So they are asking to follow Europe. This directive requires the directive comes from the whole name, European Equal Treatment Directive. Okay, we're talking about, so it's referring to the previous sentence. Requires the, after the, it must be a noun. Of anti-discrimination law in Britain, anti-discrimination law in Britain, the court was in something with the commission regarding the provision of proper protection for women in Britain, and two actions here regard the provision of provide proper protection is the first one, and then we need another noun. Why? Because you see here regarding the provision. So regarding A, regarding B, A and B should be of the same part of speech. The Trade Secretary that he had until March 16th. Okay, then we've got some blue highlighted part. These are the parts that you can make a guess. Of course, if you've never heard of the phrase, then it's not possible for you to find out the answer for 69 and 71. 71 is a long one. Forward a plan for the remedying of the situation to solve the problem. Okay, so write down the tips. Suggested are, noun, requires the, noun, was in, after preposition is a noun. Then we've got the provision to, that's a noun, and that's why and another noun. Until March 16th, then it's a phrase you need to either know it or you don't. But we know that it should be a verb. He, until until something forward a plan. Okay, next, many people, including chairwoman of the EOC, Jenny Watson, regard the decision something for women. Ms. Watson believes that one major benefit is that employers will not have to infinitive, okay, time to confusing legal actions, because the situation has now been something, okay, has now been, and then many women are normally when you say I am tut, and then the tut should be an adjective, right? Against, all right, because they're pregnant or have taken maternity leave. In fact, a recent study has found that the number of pregnant women, working women who have faced some form of discrimination has okay, so we has something reached. So we need a word like always, all, nearly, and so on. All right, put the tips down regarding the decision noun. Okay, we will not have to infinitive, so no need to change the verb. Put a verb there. 74 has now been verb plus PP because this is passive voice. Passive voice. Someone needs to deal with the situation. Many women are, we need an adjective, and this is one of the answers you can guess. So what kind of wrong thing happened to the women when they are pregnant or have maternity leave? What is it that is not fair? In fact, a recent study has found that the number of pregnant women who have faced some form of discrimination has something, so what do we put there? And adverb, showing frequency. Okay, moving on. All right, moving on. The court judged the current understanding of harassment was not wide something. It wasn't good something. So what's the word there? Okay. Because it did not take into something many of the problems. Okay, take into something is a phrase that you either know it or you don't. Many problems experienced by women in workplace. This can be seen from the high number of call. Okay, lots of people are calling the helpline. Can be seen from the high number of calls, something the EOC helpline. So 79 should be passive voice. Next, employees in the catering industry. Catering industry means, you know, restaurant, hotel, those ones are particularly something to harassment from something of the public. Many feel that if employers, please highlight with me, if employers know how knows of such harassment and do nothing to stop it, then they should be held legally something. And I think number 82, it's also one of those that you can memorize. It's, you either know the answer or you don't because you never heard of this phrase. However, a spokeswoman for Confederation of British Industry said that something she agreed bullying in workplace could not be tolerated. Okay, so what is that? Number 83. 83 is a connective. You need a connective there. Finally, when such bullying came from customers, employers, so you can imagine if you're serving a customer and suddenly they started touching you. So it's not nice, but you can probably yell at the person, but as a company, you wouldn't want this person to keep telling people around him that this is a terrible shopping mall. Okay? Right, so let's have Okay, please highlight the rest. And then I would like you to write down the tip. Okay, was not white adverb. Was not white adverb. Then this place can taken into something, and then so you need a noun after preposition. High numbers of call, passive voice there, 80, particularly. So the catering industry are something. So it's an adjective describing the catering industry, like hotels and restaurants. To harassment from is an preposition, so we are going to put a noun there. Okay. Many feel that if employers know such harassment and do nothing to stop it, they should be held something. This is an expression you need to know. Held, to behold, adjective. Okay, to behold closely, for example. To behold close. Next. Okay, here is my quick scanning. As I read it in my mind during exam, I will highlight at the same time. So let me read this. Thousands of working mothers who fall behind in the queue for promotion because they have taken maternity leave will be able to sue their employers, for sex discrimination. The High Court had decided the above, okay, yesterday. It said that the time for a woman takes on maternity leave, okay, which is from next month, can be up to a year. Yes, maternity leaves can be for a whole year, must count as continuous service. So it must count as continuous service. Even though they are not working, they still belong to the company, and they are going to rate this person who's pregnant, give that person a score, which is not fair because she's not working at the moment. Will be included where it affects her promotion. And if this is put on a report, it will affect her to promote simply because she had a baby. She's also entitled, that means she has the right to be fully consulted about, consulted means ask question and answer about any changes to her job while she is absent looking for her baby. Yeah, so even if she's on her maternity leave taking care of the baby, she has the right to listen to know about the changes in her job, In addition, the court ruled that a woman harassed by a customer can take legal actions against her employer, not suing the customer, but suing your own company. How weird is that? For failing, and the reason is because you can't protect me, and that's why I got sexually harassed. All right, so let's continue with the highlighting in the second paragraph. I'll read very quickly. We'll highlight together. Yesterday's ruling followed a case brought by the Equal Opportunities Commission, short form is EOC, that argued that ministers had failed to apply the European Equal Treatment Directives properly. Okay, in the next line, you see the word directives again. Okay, you see the word directives again. It's referring to European Equal Treatment Directive. Okay, it's the piece of European Union legislation that requires the UK government to implement means to start a policy, to start something, anti-discrimination measures in Britain. Mr. Justice Burton agreed that women in Britain did not enjoy, can you highlight together, please highlight, proper protection, and gave Alistair Darling, this character is a secretary for trade, until March 16th to inform. So who's going to inform the EOC? It is Alistair Darling is the secretary. Secretary is going to tell the Equal Opportunities Commission and the court how the government plans to remedy. Remedy means like a solution, solve the problem, the situation. Okay, inform EOC how government plans to remedy the situation. All right, remedy the situation. All right, now paragraph 3, Jenny Watson, the chairwoman of EOC, said, The court decision was a triumph for vulnerable women. It should also come as good news for employers who now have a clear understanding of their rights and responsibilities and won't find themselves tied up in expensive and time-consuming classes seeking clarification or of regulation that are incompatible. That means not matching with European lecture. Okay, next. All right, paragraph 4, pregnancy, discrimination, and sexual harassment, two negative things. Can you write negative symbol next to this paragraph? Above these words, negative symbol on top of pregnancy, discrimination, and the second one is sexual harassment. Okay, a recent EOC investigation found that almost half of pregnant working women experience some disadvantage in workplace as a result of pregnancy or maternity leave, while sexual harassment cases remain one of the top 5 reasons to call to EOC's helpline. Okay? All right, moving on. Next one is all right, moving on to paragraph 5. The High Court said the current definition of harassment was too narrow and failed to ensure that women at work were not subjected to, not being bothered by any unwanted conduct related to their sex, which violates their dignity or creates an intimidating environment for women working in the office if people think this is okay. Last paragraph, harassment by clients is a particular problem in the hotel and restaurant sector. I think there's another word for it starting with C, which employs 670,000 women. Mr. Justice Burton agreed that a woman should be able to take legal actions against her employer if the employer knew of such harassment, but failed to take any steps to prevent it. Please highlight together. All right, next. However, Susan Anderson, a director with the Confederation of British Industries, said there should be zero tolerance of bullying. Zero tolerance of bullying. We don't want sexual harassment, so don't talk about people's body parts. Don't stare at people's private parts, because then people feel uncomfortable and may think that you're harassing them within the workplace, but also in school. But when it comes from the customer, it can be difficult for employers to deal with it, because